Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is Nabil and I want to walk you through some of the recommendations that I have to maximize the reach and potential of the fundraising that we do for the masjid, specifically the 248th Mosque. This is something that I created a year ago, and this is based on numerous observations that I have from last Ramadan. Our approach so far has been around individual and peer-to-peer fundraising. We ask individuals to donate and we recommend our family members and ask donation from our friends too. लेकिन fundraising की दुनिया बहुत आगे निकल गई है, and I feel that we have to catch up to it. There are some unrealized opportunities and potential when it comes to maximizing or optimizing the way we raise funds, and I'll talk about some of those things as we go through the recommendations. Given that we're still doing a lot of individual and peer-to-peer fundraising, where we need to be is to grow our donor base by increasing awareness. People have to know that we're raising funds, and people in our community, yes, but people also outside our community, which is basically maximizing reach and then converting one-time donors into long-term donors. So when you look at a donor's journey so far, what are some of the key phases that a donor goes through when it comes to learning about the fundraiser and then ultimately donating it? The first thing is awareness. You have many prospects or potential donors in this stage that can learn about your fundraising initiative. Then once somebody learns about your initiative, then they get into the consideration phase. Think of the consideration phase as, I now know about the fundraiser, but I still haven't decided whether I should donate to this fundraiser. So there is a level of interest, and we need to do everything that we can to nurture them from interest to the next phase, which is the decision phase. Like, okay, now I've made my decision, I'm ready to donate. After that, there is appreciation. Once somebody makes a decision and does donate, then the ball is in our court. We have to make sure that they feel appreciated. Their donor involvement and advocacy programs, I'm going to have a few recommendations there. And then ultimately, you have to repeat the cycle. Remember that one of our main goals is to convert one-time donors into repeat donors so that there's a consistent stream of donation, in addition to all the hard work that we will do to gain new donors as well. So ultimately, we have to define a North Star and an actionable strategy for each of the phases in the donor journey. You saw the phases. There are many things and many decisions that a donor goes through. We have to understand it and figure out how can we best help the donor to work in our favor. So there are 3.4 million Muslims in North America. The question is, do they know about me? Do they know about our fundraising initiatives? What makes a donor give? What is our value proposition to them? The other question that I want us to ask is it easy for everyone to donate once they do make that decision? How many different ways can they donate to us? If they do donate, did the donor feel good about their decision? Remember, we have to convert one-time donors to repeat donors, so you have to think about these things from a donor's perspective. How can we increase giving by retaining donors, and how to retain donors? So these are some of the questions that I need to ask, that we should ask when it comes to the donor's journey, which you saw earlier. Here are some examples. Now I want to talk about some actionable solutions. We understand the problem space. We have to increase donations. We have to increase and retain donors, and also let everybody know about our initiative. So what are some of the solutions that we can try? So speaking engagements is a fairly straightforward one. Speaking opportunities would be an impactful way to generate publicity and awareness. Remember, for people to donate about you, the number one thing that they need to do first is know about you. So we need to extend our reach more people, more subdivisions, and more suburbs. I feel that many of the donation requests and the peer-to-peer donation and all the initiatives are very focused on the local community. We have to go beyond it. We have to go beyond the suburbs. Other masjids need to know about us, and it's so easy now to donate digitally. I think extending our reach is something that is really important. Build awareness about the mission of the new masjid. Why are we building this masjid? What is our value proposition, going back to what we saw previously? Highlight success stories, ICN's benefit to the community. Let people not just know about the initiative, but also who ICN is. And that'll make their decision of donating and choosing us from a sea of other initiatives fairly easy. Position yourself as the masjid leader. More people need to know about the leadership behind the ICN. There's amazing work that is happening. It's a vibrant community, vibrant programs. People need to know who are the people behind it, who are running the program. Deepen the relationship, find new leads, and strengthen existing relationships through our story. Relationship building is something that is really important. And once again, we're thinking long term, not just that one-time donation and forget about me, but donate and then remember and then continue donating. and be more involved in this initiative, because we would need that involvement moving forward. Some examples of speaking engagements. We can brainstorm possible speaking engagement ideas, and I highly recommend that there are numerous brainstorming sessions to figure out the right way to solution for these issues. But NCTV is one approach. I saw that they already do speaking engagements or talk show like setting where a few guests are invited and numerous questions are presented to them, and they share their point of view and their message. So there's a host who's leading this conversation. So TV shows like Spotlight, where the host sits down with nonprofit organizations to talk about what their mission is, to talk about what programs and services they offer and how they help the community, is a fantastic way to raise awareness. They also support a donate call to action button, and when I say call to action, it's these orange and green buttons that you see. So if if the message is resonating with the audience, with the viewers, they can immediately take action and donate. Other examples like Islamic podcasts. Being a guest on a podcast, a Muslim podcast ideally, will broaden the exposure. A lot of people listen to podcasts. It is a very popular format. It keeps the audiences and the listeners quite engaged, so it's important to be there. And there are many different Muslim and Islam focused podcasts. Here are a few examples: Ilm Feed, Young Muslims, Coffee with Kareem. Go there, speak to the podcast host, and see if there's any speaking opportunities there. Host Zoom or Facebook live discussions with key people in the community. I know that we have numerous live streams, but they're used typically the Jummah Khutbah and a few other events, but it'll be really important for some of the leaders of ICN or the leaders of the masjid to just host a Facebook live discussion where people from the community can ask questions and whatever is on their mind, they have access to leaders who can answer those questions. So invite the community to a Zoom discussion. Show appreciation. In this Zoom discussion, you have to make sure it's not just a matter of like hosting the Zoom discussion, but running it in an effective and an engaging way is something that is really important. So show appreciation. Thank you for joining. We really love all your questions. Highlight the progress. That can be another driver that join this Zoom discussion, so we can give you an update on how far have we come along with the construction of the masjid, or with our goals of fundraising. Share results and fundraising needs as well. Invite local politicians. I feel that we are a very connected community, so invite local politicians on Facebook live sessions where they can highlight their support and get exposure to the Muslim community. I know that there are numerous initiatives and there are numerous events that are hosted where we invite the mayor and other folks from his office. Inviting them as a guest on our Facebook live session would be really important. Invite interfaith leaders to discuss religious institutions and their needs and their missions as well. This allows us to tap into their network. Once again, exposure is the goal that we're trying to achieve here. Media sponsorship is another great way to help raise our profile and publicize fundraising events. But you have to decide which media stations to basically partner with, or which media sources. Do we partner with TV stations or radio stations or newspapers? We have to make sure that it matches the type of audience that we're trying to reach out to, as well as matches the industry, like the faith and religious industry. We can create some numerous sponsorship packages, like have a masjid profile or a campaign page that contains some background about the masjid, what we hope to achieve, some history behind our fundraising events, history behind our institution. We also have to figure out what is some sponsor benefits as well. If the media outlet does partner with us, what do they get in return of their sponsorship and because of their involvement? You also have to, there are numerous requirements that you have to do. You can choose an ad space or a public service announcement or an on-air interviews. I've included a link here to learn more about how to create an effective media sponsorship package. I highly recommend going through it and reading it and figuring out what is going to work best for us. There are also business sponsorship. There are many local businesses, many halal restaurants and grocery stores and Muslim-friendly businesses as well that have donation boxes. I've seen donation boxes when I've been to some halal restaurants. The example that I've included, I saw that at Pizza Track near the Makkah Center. This donation box is either at the counter or at the side of the store, but in a visible area. It's a mutually beneficial approach where it gets the donation to the institution, but also creates a positive social image for the business and that they care about such efforts. So we should tap into those and identify what businesses are willing to partner with us, and can we put some donation boxes there. And then that's not the end of the picture. We have to then figure out and analyze how effective are these strategies? After a month or 2 months or 3 months, we have to look at the value that these donation boxes are bringing. And if it's bringing great value, fantastic, let's do more of this. But if it's not meeting our initial expectation, then we shift to another strategy. Recurring donations is another North Star goal for us that's going to have a huge impact. What does this mean? We have to recruit and retain donors for repeated donations for long-term sustainability. There was a donor study done by Fundraising Effectiveness Project that basically says some of the findings were 85% is a retention rate for monthly recurring donors compared to 45%, which is a retention rate for non-recurring donors. It's a huge difference. What are some of the things that we can do? So the digital experience can help facilitate this conversion. So prompt one-time donors to upgrade to recurring donations as they're donating online. Review and optimize our donation sign-up experience and donation giving experience, especially the one that is on our website. For people who are donating, send them personalized thank you notes and emails to make the donor feel valuable. I remember the donor's journey. After I've made the decision, I need to be appreciated. Treat recurring donors slightly differently than one-time donors. There has to be a different communication plan for them, a different messaging strategy that purely gets sent to the recurring donors. Good communication is super important. It is a bridge between confusion and clarity, and I know that the community within the local community has a lot of questions. So imagine how many questions the people have that are outside our local community. So let's utilize all communication channels to engage the donors and potential as well as existing. And it's not just utilization of these channels, but also effective utilization of these channels. We have to have communication that is clear. We have to have communication that is timely and answers the questions that people have, and the communication that is not reactive. And from a channel perspective, you utilize text messages and SMS, the automated yet personal voice messages that we can send to the local community through WhatsApp, through other channels, direct mail and appeal letters. There are a lot of annual appeal letters that I get, and I'll share some examples later. Emails and social and web. I know we use many of these channels, but I think we need to think about what channels are we using more? What channels do we need to do that we need to do less? What channels do we need to try out? These are the types of discussions that I really encourage the folks to have as we get into this new year. Tap into the power of text to give. It's a fast and easy and perfect method for on-the-spot donation. It allows the donors to very easily text back. So I receive a text and then I can text back and the donation is done. Just a quick fact, 90% of all text messages are read within 3 minutes of receiving them, and that's a really powerful metric. It is already happening. Here are some examples of texts that I receive from numerous foundations. One is Mercy Corps, and the other one is the Epic Masjid based in Texas. All I have to do is just respond to that text and donation is done. Another thing, in the Mercy Corps example, they're utilizing the power of seasonality. There are many annual events or monthly events and weekly events like Giving Tuesday, and utilizing this approach is really effective to take advantage of the seasonality. Once again, great for on-the-spot and real-time donations. Voice message is another effective way. Just a quick fact, telephone-based fundraising has a higher response rate than emails. For example, courtesy phone calls by volunteers or recorded messages. Let's tap into the power of that as well. It's a great way to spread the word and awareness about something that is doing. It also packs a sense of urgency and also a personalized and a personal touch versus a generic text message or a generic voice message. And we can use this approach to also re-engage donors that are lapsed. For example, if we had a recurring donor that is no longer, there's a gap in their donation, they're no longer engaged, let's use this method to re-engage them. And it's really easy to do, just a powerful message that can be delivered digitally through voice message, through the WhatsApp channel perhaps. Here's an example of a message that I recorded that perhaps can be utilized. I'll play it. Assalamu alaikum, dear ICN community members and families. This is your brother Nabil, and I pray to Allah that you are in the best state of health and iman. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. I'm here to invite you all to our annual fundraiser, which will take place at 6 p.m. at our Ogden location, inshallah. This fundraiser is to raise money for the 248 Masjid construction project that we've been talking about and you have been hearing about for the past few months. This project will help create a masjid for the growing Muslim community of neighborhood. We have invested so much into ICN, but now is the time to expand our wings and invest in our future. Please come with your families, Babysitting will be provided, and care is also available for our special needs families. Thank you, and we will see you soon. Jazakallah khair. Direct mail is another classic way to raise funds. And if we do send direct mail, we just have to make sure that we write the letter in super compelling ways, highlighting different ways that readers can donate, whether it's online or through return envelopes. And this could also be sent to either existing or prospect list. So a few quick facts: 25% of boomers were prompted to donate and give online because as a response to a direct mail that they received. I've quoted numerous sources. In the next few slides, you'll see some examples of direct mails. Here's one that I received from the UN Refugee Agency. And use these as inspiration, please. Appeal letters is another effective way. We can write appeal letters to our community members as well as prominent leaders across the nation. It doesn't have to be just local leaders. Remember, we have to expand our reach. And in these appeal letters, we can highlight the importance and value of the masjid and the benefit to the community. I've included an example of a appeal letter, dear, and whoever you need to send it to. It contains numerous placeholder text, but that's where I want the communications team to fill in the gaps here. But look at the overall structure. I highly recommend reading this letter from Bruce Barrington. He wrote a fundraising letter in 1925 that actually got 100% of response back. So I've included a link to that letter. Use it as a source of information. But the key summaries or the key lessons would be that he humanized the people that the funds will go to. And in our case, we have to humanize our initiative. And he also highlighted the possible benefits, short-term as well as long-term outcomes of those donations. Email campaigns, another effective way to nurture folks. Well-crafted nurture campaigns. Think of nurture campaigns as a series of emails with some targeted information sent to a target audience to help donors move forward in the donation process. Remember, referring back to the donor's journey. Must have communication strategy that knows who to target and with what versus a generic email that gets sent to everybody regardless of where in the donor journey they're part of. Some examples of these email campaigns would be success stories, highlighting ICN's achievement in the community and the benefit that they provide, reinforce the importance of mosque in a neighborhood, continue reminding people the value of having a mosque, long-term benefit of that, testimonials of ICN being a good neighbor from actual community members, Muslims as well as non-Muslims. Regularly share results. Call this email campaign like by the numbers. These are all effective ways to and effective emails that will actually result in engagement. We also have to figure out some creative donation campaign slogan ideas. Once again, these are created a year ago, so I'm sure many of these slogans are being utilized. But a few examples of donation appeal letters, like too busy to change the world, spare some change. You can help a lot by donating a little. Together we can change the world. I've included some examples of share the results type campaigns as email campaigns, by the numbers, where does the money go? These are catchy subject lines that'll hopefully prompt the user to open the email and read the content. Your donation matters. These are trialed and tested effective subject lines. There's also informational emails as well. There are 5 phases of the masjid development. Do you know them? Once again, a very compelling way for people to actually click the email and gain interest. We also have to improve our communication. Remember, effective communication, timely communication, not reactive. Single communication is not enough. Keep thanking and keep reinforcing. Figure out the right cadence of these email campaigns and communication to be sent and where. Remember the channels as well. But here's some examples: thank yous and acknowledgements, reminders, solicitations or appeal type campaigns or letters, informational reports as in by the numbers. These are all effective things to communicate. Communication best practices, I've highlighted a few. Communicate consistently, proactively, not reactively. Treat first time and recurring donors differently. There needs to be a different communication strategy that is relevant to the type of people that are receiving that communication. Personalized communication versus generic. Personalized emails tend to do better with not just engagement but overall deliverability as well, and ultimately an expected response. Make it clear that you know the people that you're communicating with and then you value them. Send thank you and acknowledgement notes to make the donor feel valuable. Send emails from a real person or ICN leaders or people that are known in the community. Send updates on how their donation is being used, success stories, user quotes, reminders and informational emails as well. Here are a few examples of communications that I've included, that I've received. Your donation matters. I've included some, like a placeholder letter that you can use as a starting point. Success stories are really important. They have a powerful impact on people who are reading that story. So we can perhaps come up with numerous success stories from our community, highlight the person, like a brief profile, some background on who they are, and then a direct quote from them, what they found valuable and how was ICN or our efforts were able to help them. I've made up a few success stories here. These are placeholders. For example, Mariam is striving student of DePaul University and participated in ICN's youth coaching program for guidance and mentoring. And then, so what they did, and then the benefit that they found as a direct quote: I found amazing mentors and lifelong friends through ICN. Laila, in only 8 months, Laila has gone from not knowing anything or anyone in the community to a community leader, helping shape the future of our community in ICN. And she can, of course, you can come up with a quote. Some sister gave me the coaching and inspiration to take charge of my journey, of my destination and my own path, and that has led me to become a leader and more involved in the community. Once again, success stories have a really powerful impact and people can relate to it. People who have helped in their own words. I've included a few other examples of just direct quotes, not profiles, but just direct quotes from people. We've never seen our kids so happy. We want to thank you for providing a place for our kids to get continued Islamic education. Our kids look forward to the ICN Sunday School. If there can be a success story or a quote from a parent of a child that that attends the ICN Sunday School, that'll be fantastic, because I know it's part of the value that this new mosque is going to bring. You made a smile because of your generosity with the food drive or the clothing drive. Our families had smiles during Ramadan or Iftar or warm clothes during winter. Highlight these quotes and success stories. A few other examples of them, please read them. Additional examples of appeal letters that I've received from time to time. I've included screenshots of them. Take a look at them. Look at the facts that they're highlighting and how they're thanking the donors. Annual fundraising drive from Project Hope. It's a good example of how personalization works. In the headline, at least, 2022 annual fundraising drive in Naperville. I opened it because it was relevant to me. Example from Disabled Veterans, Support National Heroes campaign, a very creative campaign. Gift matching drive. Remember I talked about seasonality. There are numerous gift matching drives that we can tap into. Here's an example from the UN Refugee Agency. UNICEF year-end appeal, and numerous other examples. Another thing that we can do is, I know sustainability was a topic of discussion a few months ago. So in your letter, highlight the sustainable practices and the love for our planet and practices that we employ when it comes to not just the way we're building the masjid, but also the way we communicate with people. And here's an example of how this is being done on the envelope. Show gratitude to donors. Thank you notes should never be an afterthought. Express genuine appreciation of the donation that they've given to us and make that a key priority. Personalization is the really important thing versus generic. I've included an example that you can perhaps use as a starting point. Dear donor, thank you for your generous one-time gift to the 248 Mosque project. Your support ensures that we are able to do the things that we care about to initiate this groundbreaking project without any delays. And I know that we initiated the groundbreaking a few months ago. At the core of our work is a commitment to our community. This means support from people like you is what makes it possible for us to continue our mission and help our people when others won't. And hopefully we can also include elements of, like, let's become a continued donor or a recurring donor. Encourage them to take that action. You have to remind them many times before they actually are able to take that action. Okay, so now we get into the digital experience aspect, which is another critical element of our North Star goal. So create a discoverable and donor-centric digital experience that makes giving easier, and giving is the main goal. So number one, the key here is discoverability and the donor-centric. Number one, I have to find it, and once I do find it, the donation giving experience should be fairly easy and intuitive. Some key things that I've highlighted here. Number one, identify the value prop and tangible benefits of this whole fundraising initiative. Eliminate any extra information and unnecessary fields from the giving experience. And then also think about what types of call to actions would you include in addition to donation. Example, ask the donors to utilize employee matching feature. Ask for a second donation. Ask them to upgrade their donation to monthly. Highlight these things and encourage these call to actions throughout the experience. We also have to make sure that our donation experience is modern and intuitive. For example, a donation form. I've included an example of a donation form that makes it super easy for people to choose one time or monthly. It automatically recommends a few donation amounts versus asking them to enter the donation amount. Of course, giving them the ability to edit these donation amounts as they see fit. Currently, when I last did the review last year, we had 4 different donation pages and donation forms that were not necessarily intuitive, and I didn't know which one is related to what. And the last thing is that those donation pages were not visually impactful. Remember, there was a study done when it comes to trusting websites. 94% of first impressions, whether I should trust a website or not, is based on the visual appeal of that website. Examples, so we have multiple donation pages that are inconsistent in messaging and connecting it to numerous initiatives and drives. Here I've included a few examples. Also a lot of unnecessary fields. As a donation, I don't have to highlight which ambassador. I should just enter my name, enter the amount that I need to donate, and be done with it. Other examples of multiple donation pages. Here's one on Facebook, one on LaunchGood, one through PayPal. I just don't know which one to go to, which one is the main page. This particular one, the LaunchGood, doesn't accept donations but links from pinned tweets on ICN's Twitter profile. Basically, it was an active link from the ICN's Twitter profile. When I clicked on it, it said donation is closed. So if donation initiatives are completed, let's make sure that our social channels don't link to it anymore. I've included a concept for a robust and modern and informational action-driven donation landing page. Here's an example of this. I've included a link for it. Let me actually walk you through. And I hope that the digital team of ICN takes a look at it and tries to recreate this donation page in a similar way. A very dedicated navigation, learn about the project, fundraising dinner, or any other upcoming event, and then await for people to contact you. A prominent headline, build the 248 Masjid with us, include an illustration or some imagery that basically puts things into perspective. What is this masjid, so I can see it, I can visualize it here. Perhaps a message from Sheikh Rizwan or any other leader welcoming or introducing the whole program to the people who are visiting this page. Highlight numerous types of fundraising campaigns. Highlight key facts that these are the number of donations we are receiving globally. These are the total number of programs that are currently active. Giving Tuesday, highlight how far we've met our goal. T-shirt drives, any other drives that we have. This is the best place to highlight numerous fundraising campaigns. Make it super easy for the user to understand what types of ways they can help. Direct giving, raising awareness, giving valuable information to us, to others, volunteer your time and expertise. And these are call to actions. The user should be able to click on them and learn more about how they can actually do these things. How can they raise awareness? How can they volunteer their time? Who do they need to get in touch with? Numerous call to actions and banners, raising awareness for upcoming events. Team supporting this monumental effort. FYI, these are all placeholder copy and placeholder images. I hope that the digital team uses this concept and then populates it with real content. There are certain things that are clickable. For example, the donate now button is very prominent, will be sticky no matter how far you scroll on the page. It should always be visible and easily accessible. Once you click on this donation page or this donation button, you see a very simple donation module. Monthly or one time, you choose an amount, you click donate, we ask you for your name and information, and that's it. You hit save, they ask you for your credit card information, and that's it. A very simple, intuitive, simple to complete donation process. I've included these screens here. Make your secure donation or choose an amount, enter your personal information, and then select the payment method, and you're done. There's also social media, purely speaking on the digital side, increasing organic reach by ramping up social media presence with quality content. Come up with relevant hashtags, think of amazing and potential viral social media challenge, like there is the ASL bucket challenge that was viral a few years ago. Is there an equivalent of that campaign that we can do, perhaps? Birthday fundraisers, let's actually encourage our community to use ICN or include ICN in their birthday fundraising posts on Facebook. Paid advertisement is another thing. I don't think we're doing any of these when it comes to advertisement. I've included a few links here. For example, Google Ad Grants. It helps nonprofits share their cause and raise awareness about their cause to the whole world through Google search ads. There's social ads as well. I see ads on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and you can surface these ads based on demographic and keywords and the online behavior and interests of numerous audiences. There are also video ads on YouTube. They have massive targeting capabilities to make sure that the people who are seeing the ads are most likely to support our cause. I highly recommend looking into it. Here are some examples of social ads that I'm seeing today from numerous institutions. Here's an example of a video ad. There's a masjid in Norway. It's a fantastic example of extending your reach from local communities to the whole world. Perhaps we can start with national campaigns and then global campaigns. Let's take also advantage of YouTube giving. I know we live stream on YouTube numerous lectures and such, but a lot of popular masjids are already doing and taking advantage of this YouTube giving option. So imagine a lecture or a khutbah being live streamed and there is a donate button right next to it. It's part of like the fundraising category of this live stream. And people who are tuning into the ICN's YouTube channel would be able to see this donation button and donate effortlessly. Here's an example of, once again, the overall user flow of what are all the steps that I need to take as a donor to actually get a donation. So donating earlier last year required multiple websites and multiple devices. For example, tune into the live stream that was happening, whether it was a donation fundraiser or some other type of live stream. Then there was a message that says text capital to the phone number. Users had to wait for the information to be presented on the screen to know that they had to text capital. It requires the user to remember the phone number. And then it basically click on a URL that is texted back to you. Once I do send the text, I receive a text with a URL. Users are required to click on this URL. It takes them to another donation page. There's a channel shift. I was watching YouTube, then I use my phone. I clicked something on my phone. A new website opened up. Once that website opens up, I'm asked to choose a fundraiser. Users are given 3 to 4 options to choose from. I have to choose an amount. The user chooses pre-selected or custom amounts, and then I enter my contact and payment information. There's no autofill for easy entry of information. The form does not support browser-based autofill, and then ultimately get confirmation. In my case, when I went through this process, the traffic volume, I know everybody was donating at that time, it resulted in a failed payment processing message. So I highly recommend optimizing this user flow. Instead of a 7 or 8 step process, how about a 5-step process? Tune into the live stream, and this is related to the YouTube giving example. Tune into the live stream, click on the donate button next to the live video. No channel switching, no, I'm in my browser, I'm at the same place, I'm in the same tab, I don't have to switch to a different device. Choose the amount that I need to donate, sign in or enter the payment information, and then get confirmation right there from the same window of my YouTube screen. Here's an example of, imagine this option available for ICN live streams. You're live streaming about something special, 27th night of giving, and then the donate button is right there. I've included step-by-step instructions on how to set up fundraisers for your video. Please click on this link and take a look at all the requirements and criteria that we have to meet. A few additional recommendations. Seasonal fundraiser, I talked about seasonality before. Influencers, we have to find Muslim leaders or influencers or Muslim friendly leaders who can talk about our cause. Yeah, they can be paid sponsorship or speaking events or opportunities. We should at least identify some ideal influencers. Whether they decide to do it with us or not, that's later. But if you can identify some ideal influencers and also the cost that may be associated with them, this has an impact on both local as well as national and global level. Some other examples, car wash at the masjid. When I used to live in New York, the masjid did car wash and a lot of people came and participated. And they're actually quite profitable. This could be done at the masjid parking lot, and the youth group can perhaps help. Success stories, I've included numerous examples. I think they have such an amazing impact on people. Paint jams, we have to celebrate creativity as well as foster creativity and a sense of community spirit while raising money for the masjid. So think of these paint jams as art-based activities where people can paint art for the masjid that can perhaps be hung on the masjid walls. All right, that was it. I hope that there's a lot of information and I hope that you found the presentation helpful, and I hope we're able to utilize. May Allah put barakah in this work that we're doing, and may Allah Ta'ala give us guidance and clarity to understand these concepts and also execute these concepts. Thank you and Jazakallahu khair.